What's going on? Welcome back to Normal Baseball. The trade deadline is approaching and trades are being made. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Normal Baseball. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. And we do have a lot of trades to talk about.
We do.
I would say a very good amount of trades. A couple of confusing ones, couple not so confusing ones. But I think the biggest news coming out of the whole trade deadline is that Shohei Ohtani is off the market officially.
Yeah.
It was announced yesterday that the Angels would not be trading Shohei Ohtani, as they are going to attempt to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I do find it very interesting. The Angels are sitting 7 games out of first place currently, and 4 games back of the wild card. So Shohei Ohtani is off the market.
I am shocked by this news. Yes, it makes sense when you consider that in terms of the wild card, the Angels are only 4 games out of the final wild card spot, which would be a playoff appearance for them. Still think that it's not the right move to go in and try to buy right now. However, so far it looks like they're making what seems to be the positive move, the correct moves. I just don't think it's going to pan out the exact way that everyone wants it to.
What do you mean by you don't think they're going to make the playoffs, is what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I still think it's too little too late. I don't think that they have the playoff push there. I think that they're missing too much that the Angels cannot afford to go out and get. Obviously, they've started with acquiring a couple of guys that we'll talk about later, but I don't think that enough is there to justify saying, let's go all in, let's win. If you were talking they're the second wild card and 3 games out of catching Texas, completely different story, But I just don't think that they are within striking distance enough to really say, let's go all in, let's go do this.
I think regardless of striking distance, I don't think they were ever going to trade Ohtani. I think that it was just kind of something that was talked about because it would have been fun if they would.
Yes.
But if you think about it, Ohtani's having one of the greatest seasons of all time. And knowing the Angels owner, Artie Moreno, he was not going to let that season happen in any other uniform other than an Angels uniform. Yeah. So I was saying it since I've been saying it. I don't think he's going to get traded solely for that reason. He's having one of the greatest seasons of all time. They do not want him to do that anywhere else. In terms of them competing standpoint, I do think, now that you take him off the market officially, whether it's because you want that season to happen in an Angels uniform or not, I still think that it is... You have to go for it somewhat just to show the fans, we're not literally just doing this because whatever. So I do like the moves that they made, which we will talk about right now.
Yeah.
So the Lucas Giolito has been traded to the Los Angeles Angels in a deal with reliever Reynaldo Lopez in exchange for 2 prospects. 2 top prospects of the Angels. Not a bad trade, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. This is a good move for the Angels if, like I said, if their idea is to go all in.
Yeah, the 2 prospects are Kai Bush, who's a left-handed pitcher, and a catcher, I believe it's a switch-hitting catcher, Edgar Quero. I believe they were both decently big prospects in the Angels organization, so they're kind of, giving up some guys to get guys. And it makes sense because Giolito is going to be their number 2 now, right behind Ohtani. Mm-hmm. This season, Giolito has been pretty good. He's got a 3.79 ERA and 121 innings pitched, 131 strikeouts, with a 1.223 whip. So he's been really good this season. I think it's a really good move for the Angels in terms of getting another guy in your rotation and in your bullpen now with Reynaldo Lopez, because Reynaldo Lopez is also a really good reliever. His fastball touches 100, and I think overall, I think this is a really good trade for the Angels.
Yeah, I agree with you. Very good trade for the Angels, especially considering that the pitcher that they gave up, Kai Bush, this season in Double-A, he has a 7.20 ERA, and from what I've read, the very limited information that I do have to go on, the command is not there as was expected by the Angels. However, the catcher that they gave up, the switch hitting catcher, Edgar Quero, my apologies. He has been playing amazing. So very, very even deal, very fair deal, especially when you're considering you're only getting about half a year of Lucas Giolito. I said, looking forward to seeing what the Angels can do with this.
That's my only kind of thing I don't like about this deal. They only have Lucas Giolito for half a year. So this is them saying we're going to buy, no matter like how long we get these guys, to win a championship this year.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy move, in my opinion, because they're 52-49. They're 3 games above 500. They're 7 games back. They're 4 games back of the wild card. It's not even that like they're 4 games back of the wild card and they're the second team sitting out looking in. There's 6 teams that are sitting right around, or 5 teams that are sitting right around the same spot they are, thinking we're going to go and get that wild card spot. Which would mean in total there are 8 teams in the American League looking for a wild card spot right now. And there's only 3 wild card spots.
There's only 3 spots.
So I do find that interesting. I find it interesting if they really do truly believe that with a couple more moves they could make the playoffs, win a World Series even. I do find that really, really interesting to see what they think they can do there. And this Giolito trade, I like it for the Angels. I really do. But the thing that worries me is that it is a rental. So after this season, you could be getting rid of this switch hitting catcher who is performing pretty good for nothing if you don't win that championship. So I don't know. I think it's a good deal at the surface if they can actually use it to win and make a couple more deals before the deadline is over.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think there are more things to be done, but I think it's fair to say that it's a step in the right direction if the Angels want to go the route of trying to win a championship.
Well, that is the route they want to be going.
Yeah.
Because they have proven that now, because they're also, I've seen trade rumors for the Angels with guys like Jeimer Candelario, who's been really good, and a couple more, but going out and getting arguably the best starter on the market, I'd argue he's the best starter on the market right now.
It depends if the Padres are going to trade Blake Snell.
They are not. They are definitely not trading Blake Snell, because I think that's a whole different story, the Padres. Yeah. But are we done with the Angels, Giolito? What do you have to say about, like, do you think there's any chance that they make a couple more trades and we are here in a month saying, wow, the Angels are up in the wild card by 3 games?
I think there's a chance where we either have a situation like what you just said, up 3 games in the wild card. Okay, they look pretty good. There's also a world where we're entering the last week of the season and the Angels are half a game out of the last wild card. I'm a big advocate of you put all the teams into that pool, into that playoff push, in the playoffs, and anything can happen. All the Angels got to do is get in there. Anything can happen once you get in. So I think it's just a matter of we'll wait and see. But in my heart of hearts, I do want to believe that, yes, the Angels are going to be in that position to make the playoffs comfortably and hopefully with a fully healthy roster, make noise. Make a run. Prove to us that you can win, because you have the best player in baseball, one of the best players in baseball history on your team, and you're not doing anything.
Two of the best players in baseball history when Trout comes back, because he should be back at some point this season, which would help.
Yeah.
Their schedule coming up is not easy, I'd say. Just looking until the entire month of August. So obviously August is coming up. That's the trade deadline. They have the Braves, the Mariners, who are right behind them in the standings, the Giants, who have been good, the Astros, the Rangers, the Rays, the Reds, the Mets, the Phillies. And then they finally get a little break with the Athletics starting in September. But then right after that, they got the Orioles, the Mariners again coming up. So it's going to be a tough ride, but I do like the fact that their month of September isn't as difficult. But their month of August will be a tough one, and it'll be really telling of if this buy at the deadline was really worth it.
Yeah.
Because that is a big, if that buy at the deadline was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what more moves they decide to make up until then. So
yeah, and the one positive news is if you are a White Sox fan in the situation of the Angels is that because the Chicago White Sox traded away Lucas Giolito, they did say to other teams that Dylan Cease is now officially off the market, which I know a lot of White Sox fans are big fans of Dylan Cease, and it's hard not to be. He's a great pitcher. But now that is said, I mean, having the security of knowing that you have your ace there for the foreseeable future is good.
Yeah, that makes sense to me because he still has a lot of he still has years left on his contract, like control.
Mm-hmm.
They still have 2 more years of him after this year. So, why would you trade him when they're going to try to compete in the next 2 years? One would assume.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're going to do a firing sale of, Luis Robert, whatever. I don't think that's going to happen.
I think the only other piece that we see get moved from the White Sox, the 2 other pieces, Joe Kelly and Tim Anderson. I think both of those guys are next to go from the White Sox. It's a matter of where. Obviously, there are teams that did need a shortstop, but now looks like one team found their shortstop.
Yeah, one team did indeed find their shortstop. The Los Angeles Dodgers have acquired Amed Rosario from the Cleveland Guardians in exchange for Noah Syndergaard in a very wacky deal, in my opinion. I mean, Amed Rosario has been decent this season.
Yeah.
Obviously, the OPS hasn't really been there, but that's just because hasn't really been his thing. Right now, he's hitting .265 with a .675 OPS. So an 89 OPS plus, which is not great, but that .265 batting average is really nice considering, the Dodgers from their shortstop position this season have really gotten no production. They were supposed to have Gavin Lux in there all season.
Got well soon.
And, he tore his ACL in spring training. They've really gotten no production from that position this season with Miguel Rojas and who was their other shortstop?
Mookie Betts at some point.
Mookie, but they really haven't got as much production as they've been looking for. And, I mean, I love it. I don't see why this is a bad deal for the Dodgers. They were linked to Tim Anderson a lot because it would be a good fit. But Tim Anderson has been having a horrible year, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
And Amed Rosario, the OPS is low, but he gets on base. He's still hitting .265, which is good. And his on-base percentage is .300, which, isn't great, could be better. But I think they really just looked at that batting average and they said, let's get a guy who can actually get on base.
Yeah, we don't need the Dodgers. Sorry.
Well, they don't need the long ball, is what I'm saying. They have that in their lineup already. So.
Yeah. And now that the Dodgers got their hands on a guy, the analytics team and the staff that is within the Los Angeles Dodgers organizations have their hands on a guy that has the workings, who we've seen time and time again hit that 100 OPS or higher mark, OPS plus mark. We're going to now see what they can do for this half a season, and I believe they have him next year as well. No, this is a rental.
It's a rental, but when you look at it, they traded Noah Syndergaard, who
has been terrible.
Noah Syndergaard, I don't think he's pitched in months because he's been horrible.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a 7.16 ERA in 12 games. I think they've been Phantom ILing him for the past 2 months with a blister, It's like, are you kidding me?
And they're not going to, for some reason, the Guardians are not going to just release him after acquiring him, which shows maybe the Guardians need a lot more pitching help than we originally thought, which is interesting.
Well, I found this trade very weird for the Guardians. Because do they think they can fix Noah Syndergaard? Is that what they're looking? Yes, Shane Bieber just went down on the 60-day, but is this your solution to Shane Bieber going down?
Yeah, I hope it's not.
That just doesn't make any sense to me right now, because right now they stay. Well, I guess Fangraphs has him listed on the IL. He's been out since June 7th with a blister, not a blister. So I don't know where he would even fit in. Like, why you don't want him starting games for you if you're a Guardians fan. Keep in mind, the Guardians are only 2 games out of first place as well.
Yeah,
the Guardians are only 2 games out in the Central for first place. They're 5.5 games out of a wild card spot. You're trying to win baseball games, and you're out here trading your starting shortstop. So
for Noah Syndergaard, nonetheless.
Well, this just tells me that they are going to have Gabriel Arias as their starting shortstop from now on, which, to each their own, I guess. He's batting like 188 through, just a handful of career games. So not much of a sample size there, but I mean, that's currently what I'm seeing him to be slated in as, and I just don't understand this trade from the Guardians' perspective. From the Dodgers' perspective, why not? You need a shortstop, and they literally are offering to take Noah Syndergaard, a guy who you're kind of paying to sit on the IL. I completely understand from the Dodgers' perspective, but from the Guardians' perspective, makes no sense to me.
Agreed. And we're just going to have to wait and see what other moves the Dodgers are going to try to make to improve their team, because obviously I think it's more than known that they're a perennial playoff team. They are once again sitting atop the NL West, now 3 games ahead of the San Francisco Giants, who are in second, 4 games ahead of the Diamondbacks, who did sit at top for a while. I think it was common sense. I think everyone knew somehow the Dodgers were at least going to make the playoffs. The fact that they're leading the division does not surprise me. Upsets me, because I thought that the Snakes were going to win the division, but I think that the Dodgers are trying to stay within certain limits that we don't know about. And they're doing that and still winning their division, and still will probably make noise in the playoffs. It's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know what the Dodgers' move would be here, because their team is kind of complete.
Yeah. Especially
maybe
now with the plugged up shortstop.
Maybe a starting pitcher, maybe even 2 starting pitchers, because their starting pitchers from that spot hasn't been crazy good this season. Mm-hmm. Their starting pitching's kind of been the low part of their team. Maybe a bullpen arm. You never know. So what's next for the Dodgers? I don't know. I feel like they might surprise us and pull off just some random trade that you're like, wow.
Okay. Dodger move.
Dodger move. Next, I wanted to talk a little bit about just a couple more trade rumors of like just teams. Anything you've heard. Open up the rumor mill. Lewis's rumor mill. Got to open it up again.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about the San Diego Padres. They're 10 games back of first place in the NL West, and they're 6.5 games out of the wild card spot, and they have pretty much announced that they will not be selling at the deadline. Will they be buying? We don't know, but they've kind of said we're not trading Blake Snell, we're not trading Josh Hader. These guys whose contracts are up at the end of the season, they don't want to get rid of them. Which, to each their own. Blake Snell is currently, I would argue, the front runner for the NL Cy Young Award. Would you say that's
accurate? I don't know.
Leads baseball in ERA. He's like 5th in strikeouts. I'd say it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, there's a case to be made for him, for sure. There's a case to be made for a few guys. But I do think that if the voting were to come today, I think, maybe Blake Snell would take that award.
Okay. So, you're agreeing?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with
that just to agree?
Yeah. Just stating that it's a soft agree.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think he's been phenomenal. You know, his first 9 starts, I think he had a 5.40 ERA. And in his starts after that, he's got like a point something ERA. Like not even a 1 ERA. It's absolutely insane what he's been able to do and like turn his season around. I'm honestly very impressed with that. And then Josh Hader has been the best reliever in baseball, or closer in baseball this season, without a doubt. And the fact that he's a free agent after this season, and the Padres might, by next Tuesday, be, 13 games out of the division. Not trading a guy, Hader and Snell in that situation is kind of baffling to me, because they're both going to hit free agency unless they decide to extend them before the season ends. They're both going to hit free agency, and at that point, it's anyone. So you're just keeping them for half a season for like no reason when you can
just to lose them for nothing.
When you can get really good prospects back for both of them right now, or even really good major league talent back for them right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The Padres have always confused me.
I understand from the Padres' perspective not wanting to sell Blake Snell, because I do think that if they were to bring back one of the two, it would be Blake Snell over Josh Hader. Just because I think Hader is going into free agency at 29 or 30 years old when he hits free agency, and you're talking about, I think, the best closer in baseball, and it's not really that close. He's going to garner a massive contract. There might be a team that swoops him and literally signs him for essentially the rest of his career. And with how much money the Padres already have tied up, I feel like they would rather invest more into a starter that can go every 5th day, that can perform the way that Blake Snell has on a shorter deal, rather than securing your closer, which are highly volatile. And it's mind-boggling that the Padres have been able to utilize Josh Hader for so long, but they could always maybe try to find someone else, or someone can step up.
Really, I actually disagree with that.
That's the way that I feel about it.
I think there's a bigger market for starters, and I think it would be a smarter idea to go for a starter, or to re-sign that lights-out closer rather than let Blake Snell walk. I think obviously, they could definitely sign both back.
Oh, yeah.
But if I had to pick one, I would say keep Hader, because how many lights out closers are there in baseball nowadays? Really not that many. And they're hard to find. Once a team gets a lights out closer, they want to keep that guy. There's a lot of good serviceable starters in baseball right now. And yes, Blake Snell, right now is seeming to be the Cy Young front runner for the NL. I still think having that lights out reliever closer is one of the more not underrated, but one of the more valuable things in baseball today. So I don't know. I don't think that.
I don't.
But I don't know. I still think that the Padres really need to make up their mind on if they want to sell or not. And right now it seems like no, but I disagree with that decision. I think that is a bad decision.
Okay. So you're saying
soft sell. Sell the guys that are leaving next year anyway.
Okay.
Or after the season.
Can you give us a couple of names from the Padres?
Blake Snell and Josh Hader.
Oh, okay.
They are free agents after the season. Why would you keep them if you're not in the race?
Okay, yeah.
Especially Blake Snell being the front runner for the Cy Young. Like, even talk to him and be like, all right, we're going to trade you. You're going to be a free agent anyway, so we'll talk to you in free agency. I don't know. Or they can get Mookie Betts where he gets traded and they immediately extend him and they're screwed. So, I don't know. Maybe that's their thought process. I would trade him.
But what team do you, or are we diving too much into it, of what team do you think would need Blake Snell's help right now?
What team couldn't?
Well,
he's the best team in that. He's the best pitch. He's one of the best disregarding if he's even the best starter in the National League right now. He's definitely one of the top 5 starters in the National League right now, and definitely is the best starter in the National League since his first 9 starts of the season. What team could not use it? Any contender? The Diamondbacks, the Braves, the The Orioles,
Reds,
the Reds, the Astros, the Rangers.
The Astros,
every team could use them.
The Astros are scaring me because of how quiet it's been on their front. And usually when all is quiet on the Western Front, you will hear a big explosion. And in terms of, waiting for that big explosion, I think the next big move should be out of Houston. For who I originally thought it was going to be Lucas Giolito. He got traded to the Angels. I don't know what Houston's going to do because I don't think that they can stay put. They just got they haven't been the Houston Astros that we have come to know and come to expect. And now it's a matter of what will they do to try to improve at the deadline, because we've seen them do it before, time and time again, where they try to improve at the deadline and it winds up working. What is out there right now that the Astros can go get? I'm questioning it. I'm thinking about it, and let it be known, just going to throw out a name there of, I don't think that the Astros believe in Corey Lee at all in terms of at a major league level. He's like one of their top prospects, in their first round draft pick, catcher, 25 years old, and still sitting in AAA when, in my opinion, I think that he has the skills to be a major leaguer, given the playing time and given the opportunity. And it's so clear that the Astros don't want to give him that. So I think that he's going to be a trade piece moving forward, and I'm wondering what they're going to do with him, what team Corey Lee will be on after August 1st.
Fair enough. Yeah, the Astros will probably come out of nowhere and, trade for, Blake Snell, just out of nowhere. I'm kidding. Although it does seem like a thing that the Astros would definitely do. I'm really interested to see what the Texas Rangers are going to do. I feel like they could surprise us at the deadline.
I would love that.
They're a team that has a lot of depth in their minor leagues. In their prospect, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 7 prospects in the top 100. So if that doesn't say something about your organization, that's a good sign. Very good sign. Relievers, maybe a little couple reliever help. Obviously, they got Chapman.
They did talk to the Cubs about Stroman and Bellinger, possibly.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, and I don't think that they can afford it, honestly.
Their outfield is kind of covered. I mean, Travis Jankowski's been really, really good this season. Obviously not Cody Bellinger, but he's still batting .323. Obviously, Adolis has been one of the best players in baseball this season in terms of, run production. I believe he leads baseball in RBIs. Leody Taveras has been a very pleasant surprise the second year in the bigs. And Robbie Grossman he's been bad, but not horrible. So.
Yeah. And obviously,
serviceable.
All the guys who made the All-Star team are just spectacular.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about their outfield, though.
Yeah.
Because you were saying Cody Bellinger, and I was saying, do they really need him?
No, I mean...
But Stroman would be kind of cool, but their starting pitching's really good already. Their starting pitching has the 5th best ERA in baseball.
And they would be buying into a rental.
What?
They would be buying a rental in terms of Marcus Stroman.
Yeah, but
I don't think that
if you
the Rangers are moving in the direction of trading for a rental when they can just wait the couple extra months.
Yeah, but if you think you can win a World Series this year, which I do think the Rangers think that they can win a World Series this year, that's exactly what rentals are for.
Yeah,
so.
They definitely. I think that they have a great shot to win a World Series. I'm hoping that they can make noise in the playoffs. Obviously, I'm rooting for just the teams that I like to watch. I'm just rooting for them to get in. Because then you're talking about some of the best matchups in baseball, in the highest intensity, best atmosphere. From what I've heard and what I've seen on TV, as well as reading from what people have experienced, Globe Life Park gets loud. Like, extremely loud. So I'm excited to see what happens with them come playoff time.
Fair enough. Before we head out of here, I do just want to do the Homer Draft, the weekly ding-dongs. I kind of blindsided you, I know.
Yeah, you did.
But I already have the numbers on your guys, so you don't have to look them up. So, last week, This is our weekly homer draft. So current standings are 31 to 26. Lewis had 31. I have 26. That was at the end of last week. Now your picks: Josh Young and Trey Turner. Josh Young had 1 homer.
Nice.
Trey Turner had 0.
Nice.
So you got a 1. So you're currently at 32. And my picks: Adolis Garcia had 1, and Christian Yelich had 2. So that gives me 3, and that brings me to 29. So you have 32, and I have 29, and we will get ready for our picks now. Mm-hmm. Do you want the first pick, or do you want
No,
me?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. All right. So with my first pick, I'm gonna go. Let me think about this very carefully. I'm gonna go with Cody Bellinger in the National League. He's been on a tear. He might get traded. The Cubs are on a 5-game winning streak, and I like Cody Bellinger. I'm very happy that he's performing well this season.
Okay.
Cody Bellinger.
Okay. In my American League, I'm going to go with the guy who has gotten hot as of recent. I think I'm going to go Vlad Jr. Good old Vladdy.
All right. I can respect that.
Yeah, and I believe I get, the snake here?
I mean, it doesn't really matter, so yeah, go for it.
That's true. In my National League, I think I'm going to head over to the Cincinnati Reds and take a little guy. You might know him. His name is Ellie De La Cruz.
Okay.
Yeah, why not have some fun with it?
I like to pick. I like to pick. I would be lying if I said I didn't like to pick. With my AL pick, I'm going right back to the Texas Rangers, and I'm picking Marcus Semien.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know. I like Marcus Semien.
Yeah, I like that too. That's a good pick. Good pick.
All right.
What did you say your total was?
29.
29.
My total was 29. So, you picked Vladdy Jr. and Ellie De La Cruz, and I picked Marcus Semien and Cody Bellinger.
Yeah.
Boom. Weekly
I like
ding-dongs. We'll see what happens.
Hey, if Cody Bellinger gets traded, it feels like a lot of the superstar outfielders or star outfielders, whenever they get traded, their first at-bat's always a home run. So you got to hope that he gets traded soon, because
I'm
that's
not even
Cody
hoping.
Bellinger thing.
No, I think he's going to homer anyway. I think he'll have 8 homers this week. So, that's just me. Well, we thank you guys for watching, listening, viewing, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Let us know what you think of the trade rumors, what trade rumors you've heard, or who you want your favorite team to trade for. And we will see you guys tomorrow in the next one. A peace. Listen, the Angels are winning it all.